Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews as we continue H.P Lovecraft movies. And today is 2001's Dagon, produced by Brian Yuzna, I apologize if I screwed the name up, which we recently did Reanimator. So he was the director of it. He produced this movie. This is a movie about a couple that gets shipwrecked off the coast of a Spanish town, and the town itself worships the ancient god Dagon and offers up ritual sacrifices to the gods. And they did not have a good vacation, you know?
I've had bad vacations before, but nothing like this.
Yeah.
My vacations never ended quite this bad.
No, and one of the things that got me right off the bat that I noticed is the main character, and I cannot remember his name, is wearing a Miskatonic t-shirt or sweatshirt from the fictional university that H.P. Lovecraft created in Arkham, Massachusetts. It's great.
I think I sent you the link.
Yes.
I saw that shirt and I was like, that's got to mean something. So I popped in Miskatonic, and there's a website, miskatonic.com, it's a fictional website of the fictional college.
Yes, and the school's mascot is the squids.
Which is the funniest thing about this movie.
Yes.
And it's not even in the movie.
No, it's not. And I do appreciate that their attention to that. Another little tidbit that I found is the town that's right where they shipwrecked is called Imboca. And I looked that up, and Imboca is Italian for transform.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Very interesting. Now that's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, look at that. Look at that. So tell me what your feelings were on this movie.
Oh. It wasn't horrible. And I say that after watching The Reanimator. And I think I went in hoping for more like more how The Reanimator had a lot more humor in it. It was gross humor. It was sick and twisted humor, but it was humor. I felt like in this movie where they were trying to be funny, it just came off as the guy was an idiot. Yeah. Like when he's trying to pick up the lock and screw it into the door to lock the little boat.
I was like, there's no way you can...
and he's using a penknife as a screwdriver to put this thing in to lock the door. And I'm sitting there watching this thinking, is that supposed to be funny? Because it's not. He's just coming off as an idiot to me.
Yeah, he was an idiot. He was an idiot in many ways.
Every turn, he should have just walked or ran the hell out of that town. Because I don't think they were supposed to be on an island.
They weren't on an island. No, it wasn't. And I was always thinking, why don't you just run inland? Yes. They're not moving fast. They have tentacles, for Christ's sake. They can barely walk.
There's a road. Follow the road out of town.
Yeah, just run. You'll be fine.
The guy told him his girlfriend was dead. I mean, at that point, unless you're going to burn that whole town down and take everybody with you.
Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, get the hell out of there. Come back and burn the town down with a
Well, when he tried to burn that barn, he tried to burn that barn down.
Yeah.
And now this is one of the, I guess it was just part of their ritual that they would take people and they would skin them and leave their head and their back flesh as a cape, which was really weird, but they had the flesh all out on stretchers to dry. And so he grabs one of these and he runs with the crowd like he's not going to be seen in a bright orange sweatshirt when everybody else is wearing black. That is one of the problems that I have with this movie.
Just one.
Just one. Believe it or not, I really don't have a lot of problems, but I do want to hear everything you have with this.
My problems are actually mostly with the characters. It's not even the acting. The acting wasn't horrible.
Right.
The story, I just felt... I've never read H.P. Lovecraft.
I haven't either.
H.P. Lovecraft for many years. I know he created the fake god Cthulhu. um, the elder gods who's supposed to come back and
Yeah.
everybody's miserable. And he comes back and makes everybody even more miserable. And that's eternity for mankind. And I just wonder what the fuck was wrong with H.P. Lovecraft. If I had to look at just his work and judge the man and say this guy had a mental problem,
He probably did.
had a mental problem, man. He was fucked in the head. And I
Well,
don't know anything about him, but I would say, dude, get some help. Get some psychological help.
well, there's one of the things with H.P. Lovecraft, and I've only, like I said, I haven't read his stuff, but I've watched
Uh,
movies that are based on or influenced by, and they're
right.
almost always dealing with some mental break or some
Yeah.
mental issues. And so it tells me that that's where he's going with it. At the very beginning, when the main character is having a dream, you see a carving of Cthulhu on the
Right.
wall of that shaft. It's like, oh, look
Yeah.
at that. And of course,
Yes.
also the governor of the town or whatever has pretty much turned into Cthulhu with the tentacles.
Yeah,
And
yeah. By the end, whenever he
yeah,
shows himself, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
which is like, wow.
yeah, like I said, the acting wasn't bad. I It was the story itself. There was a lot of holes in that story that I felt
Hmm.
were like, oh, I'm sorry. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, once somebody said, oh, one of you has to stay on the shore.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's
no,
you don't
that
leave.
yeah, not leaving my girlfriend or my wife behind.
No,
If
no.
I was that guy, it's not going to happen.
Especially, and then she sees that the guy that says that has got webs between
Yeah.
his fingers, and it's like,
Uh-uh.
uh,
Uh,
and
uh,
you saw? Did you
uh.
see the people on the boat? One
Yeah.
had fish eyes.
Yeah, you can see that. And I'm like, how are you people not seeing any of this?
Do you just think when you go to Hispaniola or whatever that everybody looks like fish? I
That's
mean,
not normal. Spanish
that's
people don't look like that.
no, no, they don't. They don't.
I would have been, yeah, no, there was just a lot of dumb moves. The
There
guy
was,
going into the hotel after his girlfriend's missing,
yeah,
um, he goes in and he sees the people surrounding the hotel at one point,
yeah.
and he stays in the room. I'm like, no, I'd have my ass hightailed out of that
Well,
building.
well,
I'm not
when he walked in that room, obviously this hotel room has not been rented out in probably 60, 70 years.
easily. It's
Uh,
rat infested. It's dripping water from every angle, dust and crap, and
and he doesn't leave.
yeah, no, that's
There's a lot of problems with this main character. This main character was forced to do things that were not logical.
hmm
Um, and maybe that was done on purpose because I'm gonna rewind a little bit. At the very beginning of the movie, he's with it. It's come to the audience finds out that he and his girlfriend are millionaires
yeah,
through some stock dealings or whatever. But he is so obsessed with the stock trading and everything. He's whipping out his computer and she's just wanting to enjoy vacation.
hmm
And she takes his computer and throws it in the water, which is great. It's like live a little.
right,
This movie goes full circle, in my opinion, with the very ending of him finally deciding to live.
right.
So by throwing into the ocean, I think there's a lot of symbolism hidden in this movie, but it's
A lot
he
of
did
water.
stoop a lot of water. Yeah, he he hid from a lot of things. He always everything had to have a logical explanation. There's two possibilities. Shut up, dude. There's
Right,
two
right.
possibilities. There's two. You know what? There's more than that. Just
Yeah,
go live. And it starts off with him dreaming of this beautiful woman, Oshia. Oshia, yeah, I think that is her name. Um, and she is the princess in the town, basically. But she appears as a mermaid in his first dream, but when he finally finds her in the mansion, she has tentacles for legs.
right,
But they're still connected. There's still something pulling them together besides,
right.
yeah. And we find out they're actually half brother and half sister, and their father is Dagon. And Dagon, the city the town people are putting women up for sacrifice to be impregnated by Dagon, and then they're having children in the city and continuing. Here's the problem I have with this. We have a flashback that goes back probably 60 years. The beginning, showing, with the old man showing him as a kid. So probably 60 years back. A lot changed in 60 years, but yet how does the police never get involved? They're not on an island. Again, they're not on an island. Yeah. They're right there.
But nobody else knows about this. See, that's what.
Yeah, that's where I have a problem.
There's a lot of holes, and that bothered me. That what you pointed it out bothered me on a subconscious level. I knew there was something else that was bothering me. Like how did nobody else find out?
The time frame doesn't work. The time frame doesn't work because
none of it works.
There's going to be all these missing women, because they said they would come. He would bring women or whatever, and so there's all these missing people.
And everybody knows where they're going.
Yeah.
Everybody knows they're moving along the coast, and they'd be hitting every little town along the coast.
Exactly. Somebody would have stopped in. It just wouldn't have happened. It wasn't that hidden. And I think they tried to make it look like they used prayers to make the storm and the ship come. Right. Okay. But they had also said it had been years since they had a sacrifice.
Right.
Okay, but somebody has
two women.
Somebody has a car.
Yeah,
somebody's driving, and I don't know how easy it is to start a car after you've ripped all the wires out from under the dash. I'm just saying. So those little issues.
Don't try and hotwire a car if you've never done it before. Just knock the fucker out and take the keys.
Yeah, exactly.
As easy as that.
This guy is I'm not fond of him. I don't like him. I don't see him as a likable.
There was nothing sympathetic.
I felt for Barbara. Barbara was a cooler character. She was more lively. Well, until the end. That poor woman.
Yeah, right? Yeah. See, I had sympathy for her. I had no sympathy for this guy.
No, none.
I really didn't care whether he lived or died. There was nothing, and I don't know if that's how the story is written initially, or if that was the translation that happened.
Well, this is not a direct adaptation. I think it's more of an influence of the Dagon story, because the Dagon story I think takes place in the 1800s, more in H.P. Lovecraft time, and it takes place in New England.
That would make sense then. That would make sense. Then the town could be hidden.
It could be. But it doesn't work when we put modern time in it.
Yeah, not at all. The thing I did like about this show, and the director and the producer or whoever put this all together, it was very 80s. It had a very 80s vibe to it.
Yes. For a 2001 movie, it was 80s all the way.
These were guys who made horror movies back in the 80s. The problem that I had, like I said earlier, is there's no humor in it. And that's what I went in expecting a little bit of humor. Not a lot, maybe, but... And the things that I think they were trying to make funny weren't. They just showed the guy as
failed.
Stupid. They failed miserably. And that's how I feel. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff about this movie. I'll never watch it again.
Right.
The boobs again. Just, please, people, just stop putting boobs in everything. There's no reason for it. 99 times out of 100, there's no reason for it.
Well, a mermaid is not going to be wearing any clothes. So
the mermaid, I understood that. I get that. But
yeah, poor Barbara.
Poor Barbara. There was that poor woman. What a hell of an actress. I don't remember her name, but hell of an actress to be strung up like that and still acting and kicking and trying to keep a little bit of modesty with her legs trying to be kept together at the same. That poor kid. Jeez, they would have done that to me. They'd be like, "We're going to pay you only $10,000, Dave, but we want you to string up, butt ass naked, spread eagle.
I need a double.
Man, you only pay me this much money? No."
Yeah. So it was. She was the sympathetic character in this.
Yeah, and he was the better character. She was better written, better acted.
Yeah, but what it comes down to is Barbara gets taken by Dagon, and our main character. See, I can't even remember his damn name.
Paul, because she was calling him Pablo.
Paul. Yes, Paul.
Yeah, his name's
So
Paul.
yeah, so Paul is still, after seeing all of this, not convinced and thinks he has a way out. So he sets himself on fire,
Right.
only to have his half sister Oshia dive off her wheelchair and with her little tentacles and come at him, and they go into the water. And his gills open up, and he realizes that he's starting to feel something now. And they travel down, and this fits with the last paragraph that popped up, how they travel through the abyss to go spend eternity with the elder gods.
Right.
And it's like, at that point, Paul finally unclenched his asshole and relaxed a little and lived a little. And it's sad to say that all those people had to die for Paul to live.
Right.
And that's what I took from the movie. It's like, he himself had a transformation in many ways.
Right.
So I dig this movie a lot, and I'm not sure why. Because it's got problems, like you said. But one of the things they didn't hold back on is the effects were really decent for the time.
Right.
The CGI looked like early 2000 CGI, no way around it. Yeah, but
low budget CGI.
Yeah, but the practical effects, when they skinned that old man alive, holy crap!
And there again, by the time anybody having that done to them would have passed out.
Yes.
Would have passed out from pain.
Yes.
Just would have passed out. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. But it's much more exciting when they're screaming.
Panic, fear. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I mean, David, we're talking about fish people, and you're worried about somebody passing out over extreme pain.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, they got gills.
Fish heads, fish heads.
Yes.
Roly fish heads.
Eat them up, yum.
Song for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I found it very entertaining. It's definitely, if you like 80s movies, even though this isn't an 80s movie,
right?
This is definitely an 80s movie. One of the things I found was the director, Stuart Gordon, went on and he's also created Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see where these
people
he
went from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to this?
I'm not sure what year that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came out. But
that came out in the 90s, didn't it?
Yeah, you'll have to look up Stuart Gordon.
I'm going to have to look this cat up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't look anybody up. I didn't bother.
Yeah. And then, of course, the producer, Brian Usna, did Reanimator. And so, of course, he obviously has a thing for H.P. Lovecraft then.
Yeah. But he likes the humor. I mean, that's with him.
This was missing humor.
When you told me that he was connected to it, I was like, well, what the hell happened to the humor? But I also said that explains why he looks like the Reanimator, the main character.
He did. He looked just like him. I mean, or resembled him. As like, wow, look at that.
Right.
So he obviously has a style that he's looking for in his leading men for the movies.
Right.
But, I found it entertaining. It does have technical issues as far as believability. If this would have been set in the 1800s or whenever H.P. Lovecraft set this, which was definitely not 2001, it would have made more sense. It'd been more believable.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
They had cell phones.
That didn't work for no apparent reason.
No apparent reason. Didn't work. So there was too much technology for this movie, for this village to live in a vacuum.
Yeah,
there was too much gold for this village to be hidden.
Yeah, there was a ton of gold.
Yeah,
like gold
it's
everywhere.
Like he offered him $10 million, and that guy's like, I have thousands times that.
Yeah, that's not going to stop.
They don't want that. They just want to go live in the sea.
Yeah.
Well then go.
See, this is what killed me. Like, why don't you guys just go?
I know, right?
Because if I'm spawning or whatever he was doing whenever he got to his half sister, which is just creepy, just creepy that those two are attracted to each other to begin with, and her knowing that it's her half brother, I can see his attraction initially, not realizing it's his sister.
Oh,
but she knew that it was his brother.
Right.
That's creepy. That's a whole nother level of fish lady creepy. Like you've added a layer of icky to this that
Yeah,
wasn't
and
there.
I don't
It
think they
wasn't
needed
there
to.
before.
Yeah, and I
I know
think they.
you're a fish lady, but no, you're my half sister, so it's even
Yeah.
creepier that you're attracted to me.
So it was destiny for him to return to there, and the
Which,
fact that while he was there, he started to transform.
well, the thing is, if it was destiny for him to show up, they all could have went into the ocean, swam around, not killed anybody pointlessly,
Yeah.
because there was no reason to kill the other two women.
Well, they needed a sacrifice. They said it had been years because they would
But
always
why?
sacrifice somebody to Dagon. So
He was coming back anyway. The guy was in the town. He would have showed up in that town anyway if it was destiny, and there's
yeah,
no reason to kill all these people. See, if I were him, I'd have still been pissed off about that and gotten even with everybody. You just killed three of my best friends.
yeah, yeah.
There's just a
That
whole lot wrong with.
well, that's what makes him an unlikable character because
Yeah.
he's not going to be that person. I just thought this movie was cool with the fish people.
There was
I
a lot
really.
of good in it. I will give you that, especially the '80s goodness portion
Oh
of
my
it.
God, 80s goodness. Let me see if I have any notes here. Not really, other than what we've already covered, and that the fish people sounded like squealing hogs.
My one note for this movie was breasts, 4-minute mark.
Yeah, yeah.
No
It was
reason at
treated.
all.
It was treated like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
It was.
It was. It really was. I did like that mermaid, that initial mermaid makeup. Whenever he's
Yeah,
diving in his dream,
that
he's
looked great, and she
that.
was gorgeous. So it was
I
just
thought
like
they.
wow.
I think they screwed up when they didn't keep her as a mermaid like that.
Well, that's
But
what I
that
was
was
expecting. When he pulled back the cover, I was expecting to see a fishtail,
right.
and instead we got tentacles. And it's like, okay, you're still fine.
Yeah. You're still kind of pretty, even with the tentacles,
Yeah,
sis. See, I can't get past the sis part. I'm
yeah, that's a
sorry.
hard one. That's a hard
Like,
one.
I got to give you a hard pass, honey.
Yeah.
No, it's not the tentacles.
No, it's you're my sister.
You're my sister.
Yeah,
Do you not
that's
find that weird?
yeah, yeah. I can get past these tentacles. It's the sister thing. So, final thoughts on Dagon.
For me, it's a hit or miss. If you like old '80s horror type movies, this is a pretty good one. I mean, it's got everything. It's got everything an '80s movie had back in the day,
Yeah.
except for the humor.
Yeah.
That really bugs me. It was the humor, and the main character is unlikable.
Yeah, and I didn't piece that until you said that. I was like, because I was thinking, what did David hit on that? Because you had told me that you might have missed something, or you just
Right.
weren't feeling the movie. And you're right, there is no humor really.
Right.
And until we talked about it today, it's like, man, that main character sucks.
Yeah, he's a horrible person. He's a horrible person.
Yeah, and I have a hard time getting behind a hero that I can't relate to and don't like.
Yeah, that you just don't like, because at the end if he'd have gotten everybody, if he'd have gotten the revenge and died in the getting of that revenge, he'd have been a much more likable guy. You'd have been like, okay, he killed that entire town because of what they did to people before them and to his friends,
Yeah,
and he died in the process. Justice served, and he got that god because nobody's worshiping that god anymore, so that god's going to lose its power.
yeah.
So yeah, that would have been justice served, but there was none of that. There was no. I like a happy ending. I like a full circle happy ending, and there is nothing. There's nothing.
It had a bizarre ending.
It had a bizarre ending. I just was like, what? When that quote comes up at the end, I'm like, what? I hate you, H.P. Lovecraft. I hate you.
This makes me want to go read Dagon and see exactly
Right.
where he went with this story, because I like the idea of cults, these
The
old
fishy
gods and stuff. I like the idea, and I really have done a disservice by not reading H.P. Lovecraft all these years. So I just need to actually see.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. If it's all like this,
You're
I don't
gonna
know.
get in there and go, Dave's right. This guy needs a mental.
Well, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
My take on this is I loved it. Warts and all, bad lead character and all. I really dig the fish people and the evil cults and the gods and stuff. I thought it was really cool. Had such an 80s vibe to it, even though it was done in 2001. Needed humor. I'll give you that. And I wish I could have liked the main character more. And damn it, Barbara did not deserve that.
No, like if they would, even if she would have gotten out alive, I'm gonna spoil it for everybody. If she'd have gotten out alive and everybody else died, or even if he would have fallen into the water after that and went off with them, but she got off alive, I would have felt much better about the movie.
Yes, I would. I would definitely give you that for sure. But
I don't know if it was lazy writing or if that's what happens in the story. If you read the story, you'll have to let me know.
Yeah,
I imagine H.P Lovecraft just killed everybody. So
probably. Now, since you mentioned that H.P. Lovecraft obviously needed some mental help, that brings us to our next feature, which we are returning to John Carpenter. Shocking, right? This is an H.P. Lovecraft inspired story, not written by Lovecraft. It's called In the Mouth of Madness, starring Sam Neill. And it definitely deals with mental illness, and I think you are going to enjoy the shit out of this movie.
I have never seen this one. In the Mouth of Madness.
Yes.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to this. I am looking forward to it.
So be sure and catch us. Oh, before I finish, another water Lovecraft movie is Underwater, starring Kristen Stewart. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Amazing deep sea movie, and Cthulhu shows up. Pay close attention to everything in this movie. It is very symbolic. There's a lot of hidden eggs in it throughout. It is a really cool fucking movie.
And what's the name of it again?
Underwater.
Underwater. Okay.
Underwater. It is definitely worth a rental.
Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, write us a review. Listen to our podcasts over on Apple Podcast and I think Spotify.
Wherever you listen to your podcast, listen to us. We're there.
Yeah, leave us a good review. Even if you don't like us, even if you find us boring. I can't imagine you finding us boring, but go ahead. leave us a 5-star review. Honest, I guess it helps it does.
It helps people find us, and
so that's good.
All right.
We like to be found. I don't like being lost.
Until next week when we let the crazy fly again, take care and don't dip your toes too deep in the water.